Picture this. You cash out your Bay Area equity, buy a home twice the size for half the price, and you're still close enough to see the grandkids for Sunday dinner. That's the pitch people hear about Webb Woodbridge in Manteca, and it's not an exaggeration. This community sits right where Highway 99, Interstate 5, and the 120 bypass come together. As of August 10th, 2026, here's what's really happening there. Brought to you by your guides, Gary and Rutsell Lee. Ask anyone who lives here how they ended up staying, and you'll hear the same story. It usually starts the moment they walk into the Lakeview Clubhouse. 28,000 square feet, a stock 2-acre lake out back, and an indoor walking track that circles right above the fitness center. There are dozens of clubs running out of this one building, everything from RV travel to wine tasting. This is the moment people stop touring homes and start picturing their own life here. So what's actually going on in the market right now? There are 16 homes for sale, 10 already under contract, and 26 that have sold in the last 6 months. That's not a rush, and it's definitely not a stall. It's a market where the right price and the right presentation still win. Let's start with the most recent numbers. In just the last 30 days, 5 homes sold for a median of $539,000, closing in about 36 days. That's a small handful of sales, so Gary and Rutsell won't read a whole trend into it, but it's worth watching. Zoom out to 6 months though, and the picture gets clearer. 26 homes have sold at a median price of $557,500, taking about 34 days to close. The market hasn't cooled off. It's just gotten more selective about which homes it rewards. So yes, Webb Woodbridge is still selling. The real question is which homes people are lining up for, and which ones are still waiting. Right now, there are 16 homes on the market, ranging from $457,000 up to $730,000, with a median of 65 days on market. Buyers are out there. They're just taking their time. 10 homes are already under contract, priced between $459,000 and $614,999. Buyers are active. They're just gravitating toward a tighter, more affordable range. And here's what's worth knowing if you're buying. 70% of everything under contract is priced under $550,000. That's where the competition is fiercest. There's still room to find the right home, but the good ones don't linger. Gary and Rutsell always tell buyers to look past the price tag. Condition, homeowners association dues, floor plan, and who else is bidding all matter just as much. Here's the number that really tells the story. Homes under $550,000 make up half of what's for sale, but 70% of what's under contract. In other words, they're getting snapped up far faster than their share of the market would suggest. That's not luck, that's demand. So before you make a move here, don't just look at a listing price and guess. There are 2 people who watch this exact market every single month. Meet Gary and Rutsell Lee. You can reach Gary at 9165954279 or Rutsell at 916-695-2800, or find them anytime at norcal55plus.com. Gary and Rutsell don't dabble in everything. They focus entirely on 55-plus communities across Greater Sacramento and Northern California, and they track markets like this one, month after month. That's the difference between an agent and a specialist. So where's the real activity happening right now? Let's take a look. More than 2/3 of what's for sale, 11 of the 16 listings, are 2-bedroom homes. Everything from the compact cottage series up to the roomier classic series. Floor plan demand can shift quickly in a community like this. If you're selling, here's what matters. 16 homes on the market doesn't mean the market's dead. It means buyers are being selective. The homes that move are the ones priced right, shown well, and positioned honestly against the competition. Sometimes a single address tells the whole story. A home on Hollyberry Court sold for $825,000 in exactly 1 day. Priced right and shown well, even the higher-end homes here don't sit around. And sometimes the story is about patience. A home on Glen Echo Lane, the largest one sold this year, took 233 days to close, but it still sold for $760,000. Same price range as Hollyberry Court, completely different pace. Usually that comes down to pricing and presentation, not the home itself. This is a community people fall for fast. But before you buy or sell here, Gary and Rutsell want you to know what actually matters. Price is only one part of the decision. Gary and Rutsell walk every client through current pricing, recent comparable sales, and what else is on the market before anyone makes a move. Here's something that surprises most buyers. The Homeowners Association dues here run right around $200 a month. For a resort-style community with a clubhouse this size, an indoor pool, and a private lake, that's a real value. Buyers in Roseville or El Dorado Hills are often paying double for half the amenities. Condition, floor plan, updates, presentation, and the competition down the street. All of it matters. With 16 homes on the market, presentation is what separates the ones that sell fast from the ones that just sit. A lower price doesn't automatically mean a better deal. Every home has to be weighed on its own condition, its floor plan, its carrying costs, and what it's up against. This is exactly why experience matters. Before any client closes, Gary and Rutsell check whether the solar is owned outright or tied to a lease someone else signed. They dig into the Homeowners Association reserve funds so nobody gets hit with a surprise assessment. And they make sure nobody's overpaying for someone else's upgrades. That's protection you won't get from a website. The Webb Woodbridge market rewards people who come prepared. Whether you're buying or selling, knowing these numbers first changes everything. If buying or selling in Webb Woodbridge is even on your mind, talk to Gary and Rutsell before you make a move. They'll walk you through the numbers, the competition, and what it all means for you. Everything you just heard, plus live listings, clubhouse photo tours, and floor plans by series, is waiting for you on the Webb Woodbridge page at norcal55plus.com. Reach out to Gary Lee or Rutsell Lee anytime. This update came to you from the Gary Lee team at Express Realty of Northern California. If you want to know what's really happening in 55-plus communities across Northern California before anyone else tells you, follow norcal55plus.com and hit subscribe so you never miss the next one.